Hello again to all of you friends. Today's video is about how will we feed the puppies.
What will we give to the puppies?
Now, friends, there is something we always say.
Low protein. By low protein, I mean not giving meat to the dog.
Not about not giving quality food to the dog.
Or when I say low protein, it doesn't mean feeding the dog with an incredibly low level of protein. Feeding a dog is truly an art, friends. It's so difficult to balance this. I will try to explain what I know by simplifying and summarizing it for you. Firstly, dogs feed on meat in nature, right?
And the cousins of dogs are wolves, jackals.
Hey, normal mealtime. Now look, meat contains 20% protein. What are we doing?
We are giving the dog 30% protein.
Damn it!
If you give the dog 30% protein, since it will be receiving 50% more protein than it should, the animal starts to grow incredibly fast.
And we like this. The puppy gets fat, becomes huge, this happens, that happens.
What should be done for this?
This is very important. So we won't give 30% protein. 20% protein, 20% protein will be insufficient. Will it be this? Will it be that? We will touch on these shortly.
Now let's first separate the mother from the puppies.
Let's give the mother her food. Then see how excited she is. Afterwards, we will continue while feeding our puppies. Yes, dear friends, we have come inside.
You see the puppies from their impatience.
We have food here as well. Let's give the food first so the puppies can start eating.
Now, try to keep it at a size where they can eat while being a bit crowded like this.
It shouldn't be a vast, huge bowl. By gently pushing each other, squeezing through, this will not only increase their sense of competition, but also their appetite. Now let's talk about the protein issue. What is the percentage of protein? What is it? What isn't it?
Friends, 20% protein is not enough for a puppy.
I'm specifically saying this for Temurtlar.
I'm talking about large dogs.
A food with 20% protein won't do.
Also, don't go for food with 30% protein.
I have researched this for years and constantly worked with experts in this field. As you can see, with thousands of puppies, I have produced, raised, and observed over 30 years, together with my friends. So we are talking about a complete experience.
The correct approach is 24% protein, friends.
Thus, when we look at 24% protein, in the market, globally, industrial pet food companies use low fat. However, that fat is not sufficient as energy for these dogs' friends. What needs to be done here? Here, it's necessary to keep the fat content high. That is, there should be at least 17 to 18% fat in the food. This will provide them with the necessary energy. 24% protein will also support the puppy's growth rate, being one of the most important factors for raising a large dog healthily. The protein level, friends, is 24 to 17. I use a food at this level. I also recommend this mayonnaise system. We'll also leave the link in the description below. As you can see, here the water should be clean. The water bowls should be clean, and it's important that the water is fresh. And look, there's no bloating in the puppies' stomachs after eating.
We can check each one individually.
There is no sagging like a drum downwards in their stomachs. No bloating at a level that would draw attention beyond their size.
Be careful, after they finish eating, we should come and check if they want more.
It's necessary to adjust the portion size very well.
A little more can be given.
Yes, a little more can be given. You might say it's time to increase, but don't increase too much all at once.
Dogs should be fed in a way that is close to how they are fed in nature.
We must pay close attention to this, friends. Whether you have one dog or 10, it's the same if you're feeding dogs. What does close to natural mean? Close to natural. Well, some say raw food. Some say this. Some say that. I don't say anything is bad or only this is good. Dogs can eat all of them. But the important thing is the quality of the raw material of the product and how well it benefits the animal. Let's put it that way. You can already understand this from the animal's coat, muscles, and weight. Friends.
Let me take the camera.
Now, while explaining, I also want to show myself some things.
Look, you can observe the dog's hind legs while it's drinking water.
You can look at its hind legs, front legs, and back while it's playing.
This way, you can see the dog's back.
This is a very important thing, friends.
Look at the animals. You see how their ribs are slightly visible. They should be slightly visible.
Look here. Last week, it had lost a bit of weight.
Now it has started to gain weight.
Meanwhile, they are chewing on my shoelaces. That's why I'm moving away from them.
In short, friends, puppies should not be fed with high protein. I mean, like 30 protein, 32 protein. Of course, there are also such protein-rich foods. We also have such protein-rich foods. However, they are not for such large dogs, friends. From such a large lineage, I mean, look, the mother is walking in the garden. A 90-centimeter female. I mean, there are truly few female dogs this large in the world. You can be sure of that. A very large dog. The father is also similarly large. A giant-like dog. And they come from a giant lineage. These animals need to grow slowly, friends. Yes, commercially, or due to the competition of wanting my dog to be bigger than its siblings, we feed these animals with high protein. But we are making a mistake, friends. This is one of the commonly misunderstood truths. So what is it? Giving high protein to a dog is harmful to the dog. You can be sure of that. You should not give high protein. 24 protein per pound is essential for this. Also, let me tell you another commonly misunderstood truth. Ilya, let me tell you another commonly misunderstood truth. For example, they add extra eggs, meat, this and that, a lot of things into the food. Don't do it, friends. Do not increase the protein source. They should not eat more protein. If you are using a quality food with 24 protein, this is more than sufficient for your dog. You can be sure of that. Therefore, after properly and timely handling their internal and external parasites and vaccinations, food with 24 protein will suffice for your needs. Additionally, there is also a joint support product, as you know, which we have also released. However, 30 protein causes the dog's bones to grow very quickly, friends. Excessively rapid growth might please you, but after a few months, you notice that something is wrong with the back, or this part is like that. That's why it gets damaged. And at this age, they take a dog, or a slightly older dog, for a walk for 1 or 2 hours. Don't do it, friends. These dogs are not animals, with a bone structure that can walk that much. The joints carrying those big bones are still very small. Therefore, it's important not to walk these animals too much and tire them out. Let me slowly crouch down before they climb all over me. Dear friends, I will continue to share more about the puppies. However, I want to summarize this briefly. A puppy should not be moved around too much, made to jump or leap. It will play when it wants to, at its own time, after sleeping. And for example, you have dogs like this, right? I will raise all of them, or I will raise 3 or 4 of them. If they all grow up together, it's very difficult to produce a star from here. You cannot produce a top quality dog individually. It won't happen. Because a dog that doesn't go through that personal development phase alone doesn't become a star on its own. Look, friends, feed 3 of them, but feed them separately, because one of them gets sleepy. Meanwhile, another wants to play. They disrupt each other's routine. Sleep is very important for these dogs. After eating, the puppy sleeps, friends. It's that simple. Yes, if you have questions, I welcome you to my channel. Take care of yourselves. We have fed our puppies. Now let's feed our other puppies and our other dogs. Goodbye. May God protect you.